Hey everyone, it's your girl Donita Divine, and welcome back to my channel. I want to share my weekend getaway. It was a girls' trip to Napa Valley, California. It was a whirlwind girls' trip. It was full of wine, good food, and unforgettable views. It was like the bomb. So let me take you through it from start to the end. And maybe you can steal my itinerary because we had a great time. Being from the south side of Chicago, it's typical that we go to Midway Airport. And this time was no different. We had an early flight, so I got dropped off by my hubby at Midway. I didn't have to park. I'm by myself today. So I'm gonna be carrying all these bags by myself. I don't think I'm ready. Got the light, boo. Look at the dog. Yep, I showed your truth. Him and that dog, boy, I tell you. Dog love him more than anything. Yes, right lane. Yep, you're right. That's picking me up.
Yeah.
That means I don't leave enough. What? Somebody just left their clothes right there.
Right.
Parking garage.
Busy.
Southwest, please. Midway International Airport. But it was a little bit different because I realized I'm used to traveling with him, and so that means I had to carry my own bags. But yeah, so my husband dropped me off at Midway Airport. It's not as big as O'Hare. It's less congested. It's easy to navigate, and I love it. The security is usually really quick, so it's always a win for me. So it was no different. I went through, dropped my bags off, went through security, and it was a breeze. And then I was headed to my gate. During the planning process, we ended up changing our flight and the original two girls that was in this thing. And we ended up getting a layover. We usually don't do layovers, but you know what? I think it was in our best interest to keep it simple, so we did. So our first layover was in Denver, Colorado. I had never been to Denver, Colorado, so I was kind of excited. So we got there on time, went to grab something to eat, and then while we were walking the nice little small airport, we did discover Russell Wilson and Sierra's clothing store. It was so cute and little. They had some really nice pieces. So we kept walking around, kept shopping, and then before we knew it, it was time for us to get back on our flight to Napa Valley. Our flight was smooth. We arrived to San Francisco Airport an hour late. Yeah, and the two girls that were meeting us decided to go get something to eat. So we hopped on the AirTrans to go get our rental car, me and my cousin Kim. And so we got to the rental car location and it was jam-packed. I mean, the line was wrapped. And the crazy thing is, that was the only rental car company with a big line. So I was upset. But it didn't take that long, so I was excited about that. We filled out some forms online to expedite the process, and it was quick and it was fast. We headed to Sonoma. That's where we booked our Airbnb. And Sonoma is about a 30-minute drive to Napa Valley. They say 20 to 30 minutes. From San Francisco to Sonoma, it was supposed to be about a 50-minute drive. But during rush hour, oh my goodness, it took us almost 2 hours to get there. So we finally arrived at our Airbnb, and it was like we were so happy. We were relieved, and it was like a old cabin-like feel we was kind of like, because all the windows was open. So we used to having like curtains. There were no curtains. And there's a lot of nature, a lot of animals and stuff like that. So we were taking it all in. We did get some cheese and some wine. And then she even gave us like a wine pass for us to go have a free wine tasting on her. So we were super excited. And then once we got ourselves situated and freshened up a little bit, we headed out to go get some food. And not just any food. Of course, your girl had to get some Mexican food because we always love some Mexican food. So we went to some place called Taqueria La Hacienda. It was some little hole in the wall spot in Sonoma that had really good food. You know, they always say when it's a hole in the wall, it's usually the best. Yeah, it was no different. We got some cocktails, some margaritas. We got us some tacos. And we just chilled and had a great time and trying to, unwind and get that travel stress off of you. So it was a really, really, really good way to start the weekend. And once we left there, we headed to Walmart in Napa Valley. And we were just like, because, when you have this big old house with this big old kitchen, you feel like, I'm going to cook breakfast. I'm going to cook lunch. You're going to do all these things. So we ran to the grocery store so we can get some stuff for in the morning. We can have granola. We can have yogurt, cereal, whatever we wanted to have in the morning. And of course, we had to get some cocktails. So we did that in Walmart. And then we grabbed all our stuff and we headed back to our Airbnb. So we got back to the Airbnb that night and we decided to have a little bit of our leftovers, have a cocktail, and call it a night. Day 2. This was the main day, I want to say. It's when we went to the wine train. We had an appointment for 11:30. Our lunch was at 11:30, but we had to be at the wine train at 10:30 to check in. Yeah, a whole hour beforehand. And of course, with 4 girls in one house, it wasn't a 4-bathroom home. It was more like a 2-bathroom home. It was quite the challenge to make sure we got out on time, which we didn't. We was running a little bit late, but we still got there in enough time to check in, go to the selfie booth, and have a wine tasting at the little store that they had. So the check-in was smooth. We got our group number, and yeah, it was chill. We met some young ladies there who was from Houston, so we talked to them, and we just waited for our group number to be called. And once they called us, we were able to go and walk to the train. And then when we got to the front of the line, they gave us another welcome drink, and they took a group photo of all 4 of us. And it was cute. We knew that, when you go to Great America or you go to Disney World, you get those photos and you come pick them up at the end. So we knew what that was all about. So once we got to the train, we did ask the lady to take a picture of us. And we did. So that was super cute. We got on and they asked your name. They tell you what car. And I guess each car is different. You have whatever your meal is represented by the car you're on. So I learned that that day. So we were on the Lunch Express. So we were on the car that they gave us on the boarding. So we got on the car, they ask you your name, and then they seat you. And because I had reserved 4 seats, they knew to have 4 seats available. So that was perfect. And then on the wine train, what I didn't know is, although it's the wine train, you have to purchase your wine. You do not you get that welcome glass, and that's it. But that's only with the Lunch Express. They have, and that was the least expensive meal. So they have other meals that you can select, going all the way up to $800. And of course, you do get wine on those particular ones. But on the cheapest one, we didn't get any wine. So we had to purchase our own drinks and our own, we did a whole wine tasting on our own. And so but that wasn't at an additional charge. Once we had our lunch, they then moved us to another car for our dessert. We chose the early seating. That when you booked it, you can choose the late seating or the early seating. I selected the early seating. And from what I read is that the early seating, you eat first and then you have dessert later, or you go to the lounge car later. And then if you have late seating, it's the opposite. You go to the lounge first and then you go to eat. So we did that. We ate, and then we went to the lounge and they gave us coffee and our desserts, and we ordered more cocktails, and that was that. And we knew that we were on our way back, and we were like, okay, we have another tasting that's right after this. It's immediately after. So we decided to gather our things and get ready for our next tasting. And once the train stopped, we hopped off and we ran to the car. We didn't even stop to look at our group photo because our next tasting was like in 10 minutes. Once we got to our next tasting, this was the Prisoners Winery. It was so cute, and we heard that Stephen Curry and his wife had like some type of spot there. So we were inquiring, so we wanted to try it out. So we got there and it was super cute. Its own little spot further down from the wine train. And we went there and we ordered a couple of bottles for tasting. We found like one or two that we liked. It was okay. The vibe was cool. It was kind of like an outdoor vibe underneath the shed, but it was super cute on the inside and out. We stayed there for about an hour, and then we had to go to our next tasting. The next tasting was at Brown's Winery. Brown's Winery was a Black-owned winery that we heard about and we wanted to try. It was cute, very like urban and hippie type of thing, upscale-ish. For the Chicagoans, it reminds me like of a Bronzeville, Hyde Park type area. Super nice. We sat down on a couch. A lot of young people were there. And we had our tastings. They had like different packages you can choose from. They're all pretty much Merlot. They were okay. I did order a bottle from them because their Merlot was pretty good. But wasn't anything for me to write home about. I'm more of a sweet girl, sweet wine, or a Sauvignon Blanc. So I really was like, okay, but the Merlot was pretty good. So we did order Merlot. They did have a bathroom. Their bathroom had like these different celebrities on there that kind of like made history, that did something with, back in the day. So, or that was connected to California. Like they had, I want to say E40. They had Angela Davis. They had a whole bunch of people on there. And I'll show you the clips of it. But the bathroom was super cute, cool, because it just kind of gave you something to look at while you're in the bathroom. Wash your hands. So the Brown's Winery was pretty cool. It was downtown in Napa Valley on the Strip. Right after we went to Brown's, we had a reservation we went to the wine bar. So we left there, we went to the wine bar or the wine girl bar. We went to the wine girl bar. And it was kind of like they had drinks, and they gave you, it's kind of like a selfie place, as they had like props and like the backdrops. They had swings. So it was more like a selfie place to go to kind of hang out. It was very cute. They did sell clothes along with the wine and the cocktails. And they sold food. We were getting ready to order food, but we decided to forego that and just kind of drink and just wait for dinner. Because by this time we had already had lunch. We went to another 2 wineries and we were getting tired, and it was time to have dinner. We finished off our night with dinner at Scala. When I tell you, we had to wait it was like a 45-minute wait because, yeah, I forgot to make reservations. Couldn't remember to do everything. But, yeah, because initially I wanted to have dinner at another place, but we didn't go there. And like I said, we were 30 minutes away. So we got there and I ordered some chicken. I don't even know what it was called, but the chicken was so amazing. And I had my camera going, but I forgot to put it up. It was like on the chair. I was so tired that I forgot to record us in Scala. But you do see the ceiling, me recording the ceiling in Scala. But we was eating and it was so good. And so after that, we decided to hop in the car and call it a night and head back to Sonoma, to our Airbnb in Sonoma. Day 3. This was probably my favorite, was day 3, because these were mostly everything I wanted to do. So first up was the castle, and it was Castillo del Amoroso. Amorosa. I really loved this place because it was like very fairy tale-ish. It was gorgeous. It took us up these winding roads in these, oh my God, on the mountains. Like, it was so steep driving. I was really afraid because, of course, I was driving. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can do this. But I did. I handled it like a big girl. But it was a really challenging experience because you're going up and then, and we were going higher and higher. And you can see the cliff on the side of the road. So if you're afraid of heights, that might not be the best way to get there. But that was the way that GPS took us, and these back winding roads, and it was so cool. And once we arrived at the castle, oh my goodness, it was beautiful. It had like these bushes that was like to enter. It was just like for real, like really to die for. And you park, you go in, they give you, you register and everything. And of course we had reservations. So because you have to prepay, was nothing reserved without paying. Just so you know, you prepaid. And we were like maybe 5-10 minutes late, but they were happy. They were good. They honored it with no problems. It may have been longer than that. But yeah, we made it there and we were able to do our tasting, look around, go on the top of the to watch the views and the mountains and everything. It was gorgeous. We saw a lot of people in character, like is it elves? First I thought it was Harry Potter, but they weren't Harry Potter. I think my daughter said they were like elves or something. I don't know. But yeah, they were all dressed up and I thought that was cool. So people were really, and it was more, people were really in the element of feeling like either they were in some type of Harry Potter movie or a Cinderella movie. They were all like a Disney movie. They were all really very nice. Everybody was dressed appropriately and the place was gorgeous. The wine was the biggest hit. Everything that I had was really good. And all, like whether it was red, whites, sweet, they had them all and they were good. So we made sure to place a large order for delivery from Castillo de Amorosa. And I would definitely go back to that place because I didn't stay there long enough because we had another appointment at another winery. And then the next winery we went to was Sterling. Sterling was by far my favorite in views, but Castillo was best wine by taste. So, but we went to Sterling. It was gorgeous. It was literally across the street. But it was weird because we were in the mountains, and when you get to Sterling, it was across the street. It took like 5 to 10 minutes to get there. You get to Sterling, you park, and then you check in. And we paid for probably the least expensive tasting. And they give you this tag that you get to, and the glass. And you get the tag and you put it on your wine. You didn't get the glass, you just get the tag. And so when you get your tag, you go and wait for the gondola to take you up to your wine tasting tour. That was like so cute and sexy. The gondola, you wait, it kind of goes in like a Ferris wheel and doesn't stop. It keeps going. So you gotta not miss your turn and jump on. So I was busy recording and they was like, get on. I'm like, oh shoot, I almost missed my turn. So I got on. It took us to the top of the mountain and it was incredible. It was beautiful. The place was gorgeous. And then they give you like 4 or 5 tastings. And based on your little tag that you got when you register, tells them what tasting you have or how many tastings. So it was super cute. It was already like a pre-organized tour where they tell you where A1 is, 2, 3, 4, and it had like arrows on the wall. So it was kind of like easy to navigate. You didn't wander around and trying to figure it out. They figured it out for you. They gave you a tour of the labs and all the different wines. It was really quite organized. I really enjoyed it. And then it led you to the top where they had like this rooftop views where you can take photos and have more wine. And if you paid for it, you would have food and lunch because it had like a restaurant up there as well. That was by far the most sexiest place to go. And it'd be a really cute vibe for like couples. So I really enjoyed that place. And then when we were done, we decided to take the gondola back. You got to take it back down to get back to your car, which was great. I loved it. It was so sexy. And then the crazy thing is we had packed our stuff that morning. So, because we knew that we weren't going to go back to the Airbnb because we were going to go stay downtown. So we had all of our stuff in the car. Crazy. So then after that, we were like, okay, we're hungry. I had made us reservation at RH Youngsville. And they have several RH restaurants around the U.S. One here in Oak Brook. So we decided to go to that one. We tried to go a couple of days before. They were all sold out. I was able to get us reservations for lunch on that day when we went to the other 2 wineries, which was perfect because now we were hungry and we were a little tipsy. So we did go and eat. We had some good, delicious food. The vibe was amazing because it was just really bright and like with all the different greenery in there. Very nice. We stayed on we ate on like the outside patio part. So it was very, very nice. So highly recommend RH. Once we finished our lunch, mind you, I said that we had all of our luggage in the car, and that was only safe out in Napa Valley. Do not leave your luggage in the car if you are in the Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area. That ain't what you need to do. But since we were out in Napa Valley and we were, out doing tastings, we were in private locations. It was relatively safe. So now we decided to hop on the highway and head back to the airport area. We had gotten a hotel room that was near the airport, so we wouldn't have to worry about the hustle and bustle for the next day because our flight was at 8 o'clock in the morning, which meant we had to leave the Airbnb at 5 o'clock in the morning to get to the airport at 6. We didn't want to do all that. So we decided to get a room that was close to the airport and stay there. So we had 2 rooms and they were adjoining rooms. So we opened the doors. We went and had food at the restaurant in the hotel, like little bar food that it served this purpose. We had our cocktails that we've had throughout the week. And we had our wine that we had left over from the house and all the extra stuff that we had been accumulating from the weekend. And then, we just chilled for a little bit. And then we got dressed, went to the pool area and the hot tub and hung out for the night. And once we were done with that, it was time for us to come back and get ready for our flight in the morning. Finally, we are on Sunday. It's airport day. It's time to go back home. One of the girls we were with had an earlier flight. She flew to O'Hare. And Her flight was at 5 o'clock in the morning, so she left us early. So the three of us decided to go and leave the room about 7:45ish. We had to drop off the car and then take the train to check our bags. So we checked our bags, went through security, which went relatively smoothly, and we headed to our gate. We decided to get a little something to nibble on at the little gift shop, and our gate was pretty empty, and we were like, "Ooh, we got leg room." But as the time started getting closer and closer, the place was completely booked with people, filled with people. And we was just like, okay, are we gonna have enough space? So they said the flight was completely booked. And so we decided, luckily we were B and the early B, so we were all good. So we got on the plane, sat together, and we was waiting, couldn't wait to get home. It was an exhausting weekend because we did a whole lot in those short amount of days. And we got home. Well, we got there, waited on our luggage to come from baggage claim. And it really didn't take long. It usually, when you get to Midway, that's the only downfall for Midway. It usually takes a million years for you to get your bags. But this time, it didn't take long. And my husband and my daughter and the dog came to pick me up. And I couldn't wait to get home. And that was it. We had such a great weekend. And I would definitely go back. And I would definitely do the wine train again. But I would do it differently. I did the Lunch Express. I felt like since it was the cheapest, they kind of treat you like you was buying the cheapest thing. So I would do something a little bit different. Something more romantic. I thought the dome was on the whole train, but it was only for the people. It was only one car. So I would definitely consider doing the dome the next time I go back. This trip was exactly everything I needed. Great friends, amazing food, and some of the best wine I've ever tasted. I'll definitely be back, Napa. I'm coming. And if you are thinking about planning a trip to Napa, holla at your girl. I got you. If you need some advice on where to go, where to stay, please believe me, I've been there and now I know what to expect. And I can help you out a little bit. So thank you for coming along with me on this journey to Napa Valley, California. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you are interested in more travel content, because I got plenty. Until next time, cheers.